Welcome. This is Adventures in Mathematics. This is Hazel. Right now, she's transformed herself into a hawk. She's about to travel into a portal that is a function of the game, and a function of the world in which this cartoon exists in. When she goes through this portal, she will end up in the exact same place and in the exact same spot each and every time. So that is a function. She goes in, she clicks on the thing, and the game moves her specifically to a new location, which we will soon see. There it is, Mount Hyjal. She's there. Another character just got teleported there, and she was on top of yet another character. This is Hazel in her elf form. This is Hazel in her stag form. And she will travel about looking for mathematics. Mount Hyjal is a very interesting place. It's very elven, as the traditional elven thought Sylvan would be. Note the functions of the artwork here that performs the misty will-o'-the-wisps. And the trees and how they're structured and placed. That's an artistic placement of a mathematical algorithm. In other words, to make this flower right here, the artist and programmer had to create each individual petal and then place them one on top of the other. And there is a hierarchy. The word hierarchy means level of where you place these things. We have the base level, that would be this thing right here. Then there's another level. Inside that is the high leaf level, and inside that there is still another section of leaves. Various different colors, blue, and various different shades. Hazel now transforms into a bird so that you can see the structure of the great tree. Pretty awesome. Very intricately programmed. Even has light beams. That's quite amazing. That's a shading trick. Actually, it's not light beams at all. It's just a gammatization, adjusting the alphas on the color coming out of the area. Now, we still haven't found anything that would lead us to algebra, in a sense. So we have to look for something algebraic here. And that might be these creatures here and their pattern that they're making. This thing moves at a specific rate. Turn, turn, move forward. Turns around it again. Now, does that pattern work, or is it a random algorithm? See, that would be algebra. And someone's coming to attack it. Interesting. Well, we'll continue on and see where our adventure takes us. This is the top of the mountains in Mount Hyjal. If I don't miss my guess, I'm diving a little bit off of them. It's probably not what we want to do. So we'll move further into the world. Now, this is a function. I'll be going off the screen, pressing a map. The map and part of it will appear. This tells us what something is and shows us the direction in which we're moving. Now, we could figure out what is the ratio or the scale of my little arrow cursor and my actual avatar here. That would be one thing that we can do. We also can gauge a straight line travel, and that has a distance formula. We can see that this has to work on a grid. as I turn and I move. So there has to be some programming there, and understanding what you'll hit and how to move. And as I navigate this with my mouse, we still haven't encountered very much life forms, or how shall we say, animated cartoon forms. As I move closer, oh, I do see some more combat. Something's on fire. Looks like a big monster there, producing a puff of power. Now there's green coming at him. I wonder what time that takes. More green. Now he's exploding. See, that would cause damage. You move down here. And note the damage that's being taken. And then notice it up here as I'm losing points. So I pull out of there. And now another algebraic function. Let's look at this. I will be seated in my bear form, or stopped. This is Hyjal Ra in her bear form. And now she's going to heal herself. For this one, she'll need to be in her human form. And now, as you see, rejuvenation heals the target. Here's healing touch. It has a specific time to cast. And there you see the numbers coming up. These numbers are randomized. They're not always the same. Tells you her mana is low. She transforms. Now that's the basics of the mechanics of making an online video game. And I think, if I don't miss my guess, that is an herb. Some type of flower or plant, and she happens to be able to gather it. Now the interesting thing about this is that this is Cinderbloom. Cinderbloom be gathered, and this is what it looks like. You can get 2 of these and 2 of these. Now, volatile life is a much more valuable thing, of which there are 2, and there are 17 silver and 50 copper for each one. So we could be able to find out how much a single volatile life is worth. Cinderbloom is worth 40 and 62. 40 silver and 62 copper. And there's 2 of them. So we should be able to find out that amount too. In fact, there might be a formula that we could algebraically derive to finding out the value of anything that I can harvest. So, with that in mind, Hyjal Ra will say goodbye, and you will find out how I can know how many of each type I'll get for a certain amount of money. So Cinderbloom and Volatile Life each have a unit rate value, and there is a formula that I can use for anything. That is the pure algebra. So there'll be a worksheet to go along with this. You can download it at tower23.com. Look for Adventures in Mathematics or something like that, depending on what I get in the mood to put up there. But you'll find me, and you'll also find the worksheet. Click on that, and away you go. Have a good lesson.